What's going on, beautiful people, and welcome back to Piece of Happiness 101. And today we have another phenomenal video for you guys. From the many conversations that we've had in the past, one of the things that I've always been saying is regarding honeymoon phase within a new relationship. The honeymoon phase of a brand new relationship is the part where you're exploring everything that the person is trying to show you as first impression, which means that's part of the times where you go on dates. That's part of the time where you feel completely happy to be around the person. And as good as a honeymoon phase could be within a relationship, the one problem with that honeymoon phase is that sometimes we forget that the honeymoon phase cannot be the actual foundation of the relationship. And knowing that the honeymoon phase doesn't have an actual time frame as far as when it's gonna start or when it's gonna stop, I felt the need to put together 5 uncomfortable yet very important questions that you need to ask anybody that you're dating right now. If you are currently dating somebody, if it's completely fresh, if it's somebody that you basically see has potential to be in a relationship, if you really like the person, as much as I want you to enjoy your honeymoon phase, I also want you to plant some foundations. And those 5 uncomfortable questions gonna help you do just that. 5 uncomfortable yet very important relationship questions you need to ask whoever that you're dating right now. Coming up next. And without going around the bushes, if you're talking to somebody right now, I think it's only fair for you to ask the person who they voted for. Yeah, it's just about you knowing exactly where the person's head at. It's not about any political view. It's more than that. Because if we take a look at everything that's been going on around the world, everything that's been going on here in the States, it's only fair to ask questions like this. It's not like you're trying to start something that you can't finish. It's all about your well-being, right? You're trying to know if the person that you're dating, the person that you have interest into starting something that could probably become one of the best things of your life, you need to know the person that you're trying to build that with, where they're thinking. You know what I mean? It's not about being politically correct. It's all about what you think. You know what I mean? It goes both ways. By the time the person tells you exactly who they voted for, the decision is yours. If you want to stay, depending on their answers, you stay. If you don't want to stay too, that is definitely up to you. But asking the person that you're dating right now who they voted for is definitely important to ask within the dating process. I definitely suggest that's basically one of my best advices. You need to ask the person who they voted for. Because if you believe in something that the person doesn't believe in, it's going to be quite difficult to even pursue that relationship. And this is one of the questions that you don't want to just sit there because it's too uncomfortable. You have to talk about it. Talk about it. The earlier, the better. The earlier, the better. Don't wait 2-3 years and then trying to ask questions because it's probably going to be too late. You're probably going to be too invested in the person, and certain things could probably come out as if you weren't really in love with them, or a bunch of other stuff that might probably come that you don't want to get yourself into. Ask that question as early as possible. I don't know if it's on the first date, the second date, as early as possible. Who you voted for. And whatever the answer is, the decision is yours. And sometimes not giving an answer is also an answer. Just keep that in mind. So it's definitely something to think about. The second uncomfortable question that I feel like people need to talk about is to ask the person about their mental stability. And by mental stability, I'm talking about mental health issues, psychologically speaking. Are you dealing with things? Have you been dealing with things? Are they things that we need to talk about? Things that probably going to affect the relationship? Things that we need to have a real conversation about? Things that have actually happened in your past. Maybe you were molested as a child. Maybe the last relationships you've been in were too abusive. Maybe the things that you've been dealing in life can actually bring a path to the relationship that's not going to be consistent. There are a lot of things that happen when people are dealing with mental issue because it's all about what's on the inside. Someone's physical appearance can definitely trick us to think that the person is doing okay. And 9 out of 10, sometimes the person can be struggling mentally. 9 out of 10, the person could be going through a lot of things without us understanding that the person's struggling. By you asking questions like that, it's going to help you understand what you're getting yourself into. And it's not like we're trying to ask questions to leave the person. It's almost like how to prepare yourself before getting in a relationship. Because we all have situations that have happened in our past. We've all dealt with things that's probably still dragging us until date. So talking about mental issue, health issue, it's necessary to talk about it. Despite how difficult and uncomfortable the subject could be, we need to talk about it. And what I mean by talking about it, it's not to use it against the person. It's to help the person get better, which is going to also help within the relationship. The third uncomfortable question that I feel like a lot of people feel uncomfortable yet very insecure to even bring it up is sexual compatibility. Sexual compatibility. What's the person's sex drive? For the longest, people have been going all around trying to understand one of the ways that people have been cheating. Sexual compatibility is one of the main reasons why people keep going out of the way to get sexual satisfaction. I'm gonna let that sink in. One of the main reasons why a lot of people have been cheating is because of sexual compatibility. A lot of us don't want to talk about that. A lot of people don't even understand the main principles when it comes to sexual compatibility. But yes, folks, you need to talk about it. You need to know what excites the person, what exactly the person is looking for. You need to talk about setting expectations between the sheets. Yes, you need to talk about that. Why do you need to talk about that? Because it's gonna help you in the long run. Yes, sex is not the only thing in a relationship, but sex is one of the most important things in a relationship. So you definitely need to talk about that. Ask the person exactly who they are between the sheets. If they are a beast, whatever the situation is, if you can compromise, you compromise. And if this is going to be a problem, basically you already know what to do. Because regardless of how we decide to see it, if you are not sexually compatible to the person, it's going to bring a lot of problems to the relationship. So it's definitely a question that you guys need to ask. You definitely need to know what you're getting yourself into. The fourth one, which is something that I've also talked about in one of my videos, is to know if the person is over their ex. It's important to know whoever that you're dating right now, are they still within the mindset that one day they see themselves going back to their exes? It's important to know that. It's not like you're being childish. It's not like you're being insecure. It's all about what the person is thinking. Because most people refuse to talk about things that are very important in a relationship. And unfortunately, they're not going to tell you that they're still in love with their exes. You know, it's going to be a little bit disrespectful to even say that to your new girlfriend or to your new boyfriend. You might probably hear it in the middle of an argument, but they're not just going to come out and tell you things like that. It's going to be quite difficult for them to just voice it out. So you need to have those conversations. At the beginning of the relationship, by the time you guys are within the first stage of dating, it's best to ask questions like that. Before we even start a relationship, are you still in love with your ex? Is your ex gonna be one of the problems that we're gonna have in this relationship? Because the one thing about finding yourself in a relationship with someone who's still in love with their ex, they're gonna be using you as a mirror. They're gonna compare everything that you do with their ex. It's gonna be a constant situation. It's almost like you finding a ghost of love. It's like you're trying your best to please the person, but the person is not even seeing exactly what you're doing because their constant mind is on the ex. And the biggest deal about that is that the more you stay in that relationship, the more problematic it's going to be for you because you won't know exactly what to do to please the person. The person's going to be in that constant state of mind where they want to go back to their exes. Sometimes people don't see it as a big deal until it becomes a big deal. Sometimes people think at some point they're going to get over their ex, but it doesn't go that way. If they get in a relationship with you while they are still not over their ex, chances are the person gonna end up cheating on you. That's one of the truest possibilities. You might not want to think about it, but if you want to save yourself from another waste of time, I think it's best to put it on the table. Are you still in love with your ex? Are you over your ex? Is your ex gonna be a problem? Ask questions like that. As uncomfortable they might sound, it's definitely gonna save you time, energy, and a lot more baggage that you don't need. And for question number 5, I know a lot of people might not think this is true, but it's definitely something that a lot of folks been dealing with. You might not deal with it now, or you might not feel the wave right now, but the minute you get deeper in the relationship, you're gonna start seeing exactly what I'm about to say. Question number 5 goes as follows. As a married couple, who comes first? Me, you, your parents, or your friends? As critical this might sound, a lot of people would never think about, oh yeah, why would I be marrying somebody to think that I'm going to put somebody else before them? I'm building a family with you. That's what a lot of us might think. But somehow a guy could be married but feel comfortable to have his mom doing his laundry every Sunday. Yeah, mama's boy. And I know the worst thing about that is that you might not even know if the person was like that to begin with. And I know sometimes you might not even be thinking about that. Maybe you don't even think this is possible because the whole purpose of getting in a relationship with someone to even get married is to build a family that you're basically going to protect, a family that you're going to provide for, and a family that you're basically building for the rest of your lives. And by having a family, that also means they're going to have to come first. That's basically the mindset. That's what a lot of people would think. But until you find yourself in a situation where you are not even number 4, that is crazy, right? So it's best to ask questions like this because at the end of the day, looking at the person, answering questions like this, that's definitely going to give you an answer. You need to know. Do not sit back and think that everything's going to work out. It's not. Because if relationship was as easy as a lot of people think it is, we wouldn't need relationship counselors. We wouldn't need a relationship coach. We wouldn't need people who are there to help us with our relationship. It's because relationship is one of the most beautiful things, but can be tricky at times. So yes, ask as many questions as you can. It's all about trying to save yourself from wasting your time. And of course, you're probably not going to find all 5 of them from one person. And of course, we don't want folks to be constantly asking questions they have no business asking. But asking uncomfortable questions that's going to help the relationship grow are definitely needed. I need you guys to really, really think about everything that was said, all the questions that we asked. It's not like we're trying to keep you from getting into a relationship. It's all about saving you from wasting time. It's all about you understanding how important it is to ask those uncomfortable questions that would definitely keep you from wasting energy. I'm definitely sure there's probably hundreds more of uncomfortable questions. If you guys need a number 2, let me know in the comments below. If I've missed something in the process, also let me know in the comments below. But the mindset is this: before you get in a relationship, especially in today's reality, it's important to ask those questions. It's important to get to know the person deeper than what the eyes can see. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate all of you guys who've been supporting the channel from the get-go. And if you are new to the channel, feel free to take a look around. If you happen to see something that you like, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.